Hello. You look strangely like me. Not exactly like me. Can't put my finger on... You're bigger. You're... Have you been taking my fries all these years? I find your silence suspicious. I'm so conflicted. Perhaps he's me from another dimension. A dimension that needs fries? Nope. Can't have my fries this time. They're gone already. He took my fries. I'd better go hide some of my items so he doesn't take those too. Can't believe he got my fries. They were so safely secured in my inventory. Better store this restorative. Mage's soul. Surprised he took the fries and not the mage's soul. Hey, Vector's here. Oh no! Vector! Watch out for your fries! He takes the fries first! Vector! Vector! Secure your My goodness, where are my manners? Howdy, Vector. Yeah, howdy, Vector. Watch out for your fries! He's here for the fries! Hello, everybody. This is a grumpy old guy gaming, and my goodness, when we say Fragment Friday is the place to be, we are not kidding. This is footage I captured Friday evening. Joining me is Slishstrol, the owner of the Fragment Resurgence Discord, and the person who actually designed this server, Storytime Dungeons, and Dow. They are playing the character in the middle there. We're talking with a random long arm that appears as the fourth person in this little party there. You may recognize that long arm from the intro there. This is a bit of an anomaly. It is apparently a sports and fitness day event that we just sort of triggered. Not really sure how we triggered it. I've got a couple videos about the New Year's event that I've had the good, or shall we say interesting, fortune of running into twice, but right away when I went into the Storytime Dungeons server to see if any interest was drummed up in running the keywords I had posted earlier, this long arm was here, and onto the Discord I went to let everyone know, hey, there's an event going down. So it's a level 38 board. No clue what these keywords are. You see those little 5 gems up in the upper left-hand corners. Believe that means we're all capable of using awakenings. We don't actually use any here. Not quite sure what we're going to do here. Got a bit of a disagreement as to whether or not we want to go straight to the dungeon or take out all the portals. Eventually we decide on the portals. I myself am woefully underleveled, so I'm just going to try and get a couple hits in and hope that we don't run into things in the Mimic line. Unfortunately, we do run into things in the Mimic line, which isn't such a big deal if I get confused in this instance, because my damage output is woefully beneath both Slishstrol and Dow. As you could see, Slishstrol just up and one-shot me in confusion. I'm going to spend a lot of time dying out here in the field. It's a pretty good analogy for how I actually fit into this party. I am very much the dead weight here. But I will do my honest best to try and pull my weight amongst this group. And this is kind of exciting for me, I'm not gonna lie. If you go ahead and watch my Happy 2 Years video, where I encountered the New Year's event, it was my absolute goal to see what these events sort of entailed, and I just, knowing how .hack in-game events worked from the single-player games, whatever you're looking for is always in the bottom level of the dungeon, right? It's usually in the last room, like the treasure room or whatever room will trigger it off. Even when you're playing through the storyline in Fragment here, there's rooms where you have that sort of like purple glowing light haze before the door. I don't really know how to describe it otherwise. It's like a mist rising up from the ground. And that's kind of telling you, hey, if you go through here, you're going to trigger the cutscene, you're going to trigger what you're looking for, so hurry up and loot all the other rooms first, because it's job done after this. We're just going to keep going after all the portals here. Very much following Slistrel and Dow, and very much dying a lot due to confusion-related antics. At this point, I'm just laughing. Actually laughing quite a bit while we're playing. Doing commentary here a day removed. And this will be posted a day past that, so this will be Sunday by the time this comes out. Sadly, I wasn't able to communicate. You saw Vector there in the intro. Vector has been, like, super awesome. Actually, the spear that my long arm Grumpo guy has was a gift from Vector. So huge thank you to him for everything, and sadly couldn't get Vector into this game, into this event. I offered to jump out, and I got a medevac, which was really all the encouragement I needed, because selfishly I really wanted to see what this was. I was really curious to see what it was. So Vector, if you're listening, once again, I'm sorry and I owe you. Big time. Back to the action here. There's a trap chest, and again, I've done principally nothing, so I feel bad grabbing anything of consequence in this field, because all I've really done is seen my icon go red a bunch. I've got a couple hits in, and for the kills that I'm alive for the experience on, I'm gonna rack up some great experience. It's sort of a unique position for me with this Blade Master, because this is actually my main account. I don't play a ton, and as you'll see from the videos, I've mainly spent a lot of time in low-level areas with my alternate classes. But the Weekend Warrior was principally something I wanted to do, A, to let off steam and have a little fun, and B, to get out my Blade Master, to be able to run things that weren't like level 4 dungeons. You see the spells and the attacks these guys are dropping are just insane damage. You're seeing 4 digits out of them on monsters that I'm, scraping together 60, 70 damage on. Pick up a rig same out of the portal there. Just kind of fumbling around at the moment. One more portal left. Celestial's taking the lead. Dow and I are going to arrive there at just about the same time. By the time my attack animation happens, I went for, I think, a juke zot. By the time the animation happened, the battle was already over. So not much to do now but head into the dungeon. If I remember right, this ends up being like a 5-floor dungeon. But either way, super excited. Also notice that all 3 characters have different little slogans for when we enter the room. I suppose those are all dependent on what build or what model the game was in when the characters were created. I do believe Slistral said afterwards his controller was only halfway configured when he ran this, so this gets to be a little interesting. There are a couple times I think they went to press some buttons and it didn't quite take. See a statue Menhir here. We're going to see some different variants of monsters than you've seen in my previous videos, and some really badass names, like right away a statue Menhir. Kind of a cool saying, certainly better than a fiend Menhir. Although I don't know. We're in October, it's Halloween month, Fiend Manir isn't that bad. There, the temptation was too great. I'm like, what awesome treasure is this level 38 dungeon gonna spawn? And it's a worm hide. That's what I get for checking. Get through those mummy scissors there. Which I suppose would be the bane of a mummy, truth be told. They're like 80% bandaged by the time they're mummies. Scissors are a real thing. Get to this portal here. Got another statue Manir. I'm not sure what that spell is, but my goodness is it doing a ton of damage. And as you can see, I am reaping up the rewards there. That was 27 and 14 respectively on the experience. Again, very minor supporting role, more nuisance than support, truth be told, but I'm certainly enjoying my time running this, and I'm not complaining about the ridiculous experience totals I'm getting on the way. Fragment Friday, always a fun thing. People generally try to put their servers up throughout the day, and there's always people popping in and out to play. It was sort of a weird day by the time I got home. There weren't too many people playing. There were some people who popped in and out of story time. My wife was nice enough to make sure my computer didn't, shut down the server. So quick thanks to her for helping make this Fragment Friday a big success on this end of things for me personally. But we were actually hitting that point in like late afternoon, early evening here where, there weren't too many people playing, and I remember one person taking a screen cap and posting on the Discord saying something like all kinds of servers but no players. So I jumped on again to see if I could drum up a little interest, at least get a number into Storytime Dungeons and hang out in town till a couple people came on. Maybe see if they wanted to run False Devious Lie, which were the keywords I had posted on Friday for my virtual play-along. And that long arm appeared. It always piques my curiosity to find little things like that, and to know that these events are still in the game. It's a really cool thing for me. Like, as geeky as it is to just be thrilled playing this game after all this time. The fact that we're discovering things that aren't super well known even by the long-time players. It's really kind of cool. What isn't cool is trying to deal with multiple statue Manir, but again, Dow and Celestial are like level all of it. So they managed to take them down, and I managed to not get in the way too much. I myself, like I said, level 28, not a slouch by any means, but well below where I would have needed to be here. Once again, accentuating the most important point in the dot hack games, and that's, if you can help it, don't solo. Make friends. Get out there. Get out there in there is what I'm saying. It doesn't hurt you one bit to party up. In fact, it's the greatest help you get, because you can't get wiped if you get one shot. Somebody's always there to pop that res, and you get to watch their back too. Or watch that Wryneck looking Reaper thing just decimate an entire encounter. That's neat. At some point it would have been cool if we had actually, gotten together and sort of figured out what awakenings we had, so maybe we could have popped one up for this video, been sort of a cool extra. But I'm not gonna lie, I was so freaked out about getting good video capture for this that I shut down Discord immediately after letting everyone know, hey, this event's here. So this is just me running the game with Celestial and Dow, and the only things I've got running at this point are Fragment. I've got the server up on the area server application, and then I've got OBS up. I'm using OBS for recording here. Come to a bit of a four-way room here, and if I remember right, yeah, there's a little bit of conflict here. Dow wants to go one way, Sliss wants to go the other, and we end up going this direction here. I think the key was we just wanted to make sure, at this point we weren't sure how deep the dungeon was or what rooms they were. We just wanted to make sure to hit as much of the dungeon as possible before reaching the end. Get the best outcome possible, and that is 100%ing it. So you saw the giant pumpkin face ghost thing, the wisp family monster there. These in this version are actually called Pumpkin Kings, which is the most super Halloween thing we could have captured for a Weekend Warrior in October. Of course, Nightmare Before Christmas fans are probably geeking out over that reference. This to me looks a bit more intimidating than a claymation skeleton in a tux. Feel free to give me the thumbs down over that one. Going back to the square room here, and like I said, we just don't want to accidentally walk into the treasure room or walk into whatever room's going to trigger the event before clearing out as much as we possibly could. Everybody, I think, at this point is just focused on clearing the dungeon, so you're going to see a lot of treasure chests left behind. Man, it's a shame I missed that damage total. That was an elemental hit. That had to be for, like, stupid damage. Again, a little miscommunication, but we end up deciding to go further down in the map before taking that side entrance. And we run into another Pumpkin King. Couldn't really tell what that smaller monster was. It didn't really live long enough for the name to pop up on my screen here. And back we go. You'll see a couple chests and a couple of eggs picked up throughout the dungeon, but by and large, not really any decided looting. Obviously, the last treasure chest will be picked up. Couldn't tell you for the life of me what was in it. I didn't pick it up. I certainly wouldn't have wanted to, because again, I'm just a tourist. These guys cannot say it enough, did the heavy lifting. Technically the heavy slashing, since they're both heavy axemen. Or women. Hey, 2020. What's a class to decide? Got a couple Pumpkin Kings here. Yeah! Picked up the damage total on that elemental hit, and, well, that was 4,700 plus damage. I've seen numbers like that before. They were inflicted on me on that level 80 board for the New Year's event. So happy to be surviving a hit that big. Even happier that it wasn't even leveled by a monster, so there was nothing to worry about. Now, one thing I will say is I've got much nicer gear than a level 28 Wave Master should. So these monsters, despite being in a dungeon 10 levels my better, aren't really hitting me as hard as they could be. It's allowing me to hang in there, get some hits. Of course, I've got a speed boost up to keep pace with these guys, and I've got a physical accuracy buff just so I can make sure I have the best chance possible to get a hit in. Any successful damage is going to go ahead and qualify me for experience when that monster falls. And by and large, I'm getting like 27 experience a clip from most of these monsters. That's just crazy to pass up. You're happy if you get 10 from a monster, you know? That means 100 kills at 10 and you're leveling. 27, you're just warp speed through this. One of the few combats where my attacks actually look like they're doing something tangible. Damaged a couple times on that first monster, then ducked over to the other and got my hits in. Here's a double portal room, and these are just never fun at all. You get a couple Pumpkin Kings out of the first, and then the statue Menhir in the background. Make sure this combat is as frustrating as humanly possible. Finally make our way back to the Menhir. Dow had gotten there first and was taking everything out pretty well, and Slistroll holding the front there against the Pumpkin Kings. Suppose that makes me the roving reporter on this one. Again, not a position I mind given the situation. By now, if I had soloed, I would have been wiped well before I even got to the dungeon, and here we are on the second floor. Also, 20 minutes in and we've already seen all of this. So we've cleared all of the other directions, and we're going to go back to that small room and see what lies beyond it. Come to one of these weird T-shaped rooms. Always neat to find the more unique shaped rooms like these. You sort of get used to your long and medium corridors and your square shaped rooms with the breakable objects on the diagonals, and so when you see something that's decidedly different, it sticks out in your mind and it's a little refresher, kind of a landmark for you. Speaking of a long corridor, this is one stupid long corridor. I managed to win the PC foot race because their speed boosts had worn off, so they're refreshing there. I really have to make sure to get that set as a shortcut too. Kind of disjointing how jumping in a menu for a speed boost is in this game. So if you're looking for a way to fill out your shortcuts and you don't have the speed charm set, that's probably a good place to go. Just to make sure if somebody is running with you that they're not just waiting for you to get to the door. Once again, a statue Menhir and a Pumpkin King. Must be something else there in the background too. It had died and been resurrected by the Menhir. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what that was there. If its name popped up in the box, feel free to mention it down in the comments. I missed it. Certainly missed it in the playthrough. I was like beside myself giddy, which, okay, it was probably a King Snakeoid, that makes sense. So we've got King Snakeoids as the smaller, like, humanoid monsters. But yeah, if you know me and my general nature off of this channel, the name Grumpy Old Guy Gaming fits truer than not. So for me to say I was giddy is a bit of a bold statement. But I really was. This is like, you know, Christmas morning adjacent levels of excitement. Here I'm seen as going through the door, as you can see by the flashing neck scene, but I'm all the way on the other side of the pillar there. Just a bit of a proximity gag there. So before heading down there, as we were fairly confident that would be the stairs down to the next floor, we wanted to check out this other intersection room, this four-way cross, and check out what other directions we could explore here. Floor 3 felt like it was like all large and medium rooms here. Nothing was like quick in and out. Coming up to a portal here at the bend. Yeah, nothing we haven't seen before. We've got our King Snakeoids, we've got our Pumpkin King, a lot of royalty here, and statue Menhir for good measure. At this point I just can't get to the Menhir because the Pumpkin King is kind of blocking the way. Do finally get there, but the Menhir has put in more than its, you know, effort worth. See, the Pumpkin King got a critical hit on Dow, and their hit points were frighteningly low. It has that death touch effect. really adds a sense of urgency to combat with them. You just can't hack them down and hack them down, especially if you're playing a defensive tank strategy, because they're always that one lucky hit away from putting you in critical condition. Here I'm trying to just senselessly whack away at that Minier, and I'm close to the chest, and I accidentally pick up the chest. So, free item for me, but not really what I was going for there, and I felt kind of dumb not getting the attack off. Here I'm going for a speed charm, again just to catch up with the group. I figure the doorway here is the best time to do that. It's annoying sitting at the doorway waiting for someone to pop those, but it's 10 times worse waiting for them to join battle. At least that's my logic. So again, floor 3 here, and just clearing out as much of the dungeon as there is to see. Really glad this is the approach we took. Really made for a great capture, and, you know, truth be told, I was sort of reaching at the time for an idea for the Weekend Warrior. You guys know I like to do those stupid little bits at the beginning, a bit of a sense of humor. Just not my usual serious, here's some gameplay, here's what I was thinking, this would be beneficial in the future, and yes, I know, the button jumps. I like to have a little fun with these. It's my sort of end-of-week blow-off. If you're familiar with the channel at all, every Sunday I've been doing these, and I've been doing a .hackgu stream in the mornings. So it's sort of a double-header for me. Just my way of celebrating, making it through a week, and starting a new one up. But I was sort of out of gags. That's where I was going. I was out of gags, I didn't really have any ideas. Honestly, I was kind of tired, I was a little burnt out. And this event popped up and was just sort of a gift from on high, or from wherever you get your gifts. Maybe FedEx. Not sponsored by FedEx. Open to it. Coming to the next room here. Finally finishing off that first cross-shaped intersection room, and we come to a little L bend, which had a couple king snakeoids, and now have a couple king snakeoid shaped stains on the carpet. Not that it needs said by me, but as we head to the stairs down, I'm going to say it anyway, Dow and Slishstrol are dealing a ton of damage. So level 4 here, we've got a bit of an L-shaped bend here. Trapped chest that time. Seems that Dow had done what I typically do when you try to rush into a portal, and that's just start mashing that attack button to get the first hit on the first thing out, and then it's a trapped chest. Just a little mistake in our haste. Again, it's level 4 by now. We're kind of curious at this point. I don't want to speak for them, but I know I was curious. I'm like, how's this gonna end? In fact, at the time, I still don't really know what's going on. I think someone had mentioned this was something about sports and fitness, which I knew was a thing in Japanese culture, to have a sports and fitness like day, and I had heard that was one of the events. From what I had seen posted later on the Discord, the actual event happened chronologically not too far off of when we triggered it here. It would have been back in 2006, but I think it was October 2nd, and this footage was captured on the 9th, so given the fact that the internal clock on these events within the game is kind of busted and the events don't trigger when they should, only being a week or so off from the time this had originally aired on the official servers 14 years earlier was kind of a little bit weird and awesome at the same time. Once again, just clearing down through. We've got another battle coming up here, and this is an Orkai, Orochi, Orochi. Somebody needs to help me with these. There's like 30 different ways I could pronounce that. I'm gonna go with Orakai. I believe that's how a couple of the guys I played Magic the Gathering with pronounced that from the Kamigawa block cards. If that's wrong, please feel free to correct me with phonetic speech. I will understand better. Go ahead, take a chance on that chest, because what do I have to lose there? And it's a resurrect. So twice I greedily picked up a chest, and twice it really hasn't given me anything of consequence. For my greed, I've gotten a worm hide and a resurrect. Once again, not complaining, just pointing out that not getting the big high fancies that I was hoping for. I guess that's kind of complaining. Coming up on another small tea room here. Find myself right in between two Pumpkin Kings, so I was very happy when that spell hit. Made finishing off the rest of that battle short work for all of us. I don't even think I got a hit off there, so I guess for both of them. I was right in the middle of the combat and I never landed a hit. How's that for you? These guys are just going to town with the heavy magics. There I got one hit in. Somewhere earlier I had leveled up. I knew it had happened, obviously, because this is previous recorded footage and I'm just dubbing commentary over it. But I just now realized that my skill points are up to 97. I had therefore leveled previously. So if you want to go back and just rewind where I had leveled, that's where I meant to say, hey, I leveled up. Instead, we're here with the Hades Hound. A pair of them, actually. We're just seeing all kinds of freaky stuff happen, like orbs of light being flung at things, and like, this was just such an awesome experience running this dungeon. And you could tell that because, as opposed to my usual stammering of I've been saying like every 30 seconds like a teenager. So we've hit our final dungeon portal, which means there isn't much more to find but the treasure. Once again, Slistral and Dow making short work of this dungeon. Thanks again to those guys, thanks to Vector for coming to check it out, and just overall thanks to this community for being so helpful and so cool with everything. Coming into the room, and we are greeted in the treasure room by Natsume. Was not expecting Natsume here in the bottom, but here she is saying something in Japanese. I took my time clicking through this because I don't know how to read it. Maybe you do. I'm sure somebody's gonna find a translation for it at some point, but it's gonna go through a couple more screens of this. I'm guessing it's some sort of congratulations and reminding us the importance of physical fitness, just based off what I was told the event was about. Eventually we're gonna see some text pop up in green. There it is. It is a key item. I believe somebody said those are the bent glasses, which gives us 5 magic attack. It's a stat boost, which is really, really cool and kind of a neat cap to this event board. Again, I was stoked to run it. Felt incredibly honored to run it in the company I had with it. Can't be grateful enough to these guys for literally dragging my carcass through that field and dungeon. I hope you've enjoyed this special Weekend Warrior. A bit less silly than the rest, but in some places a bit more silly as well. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time.